Look at the weather and maybe even learn a few things. So let's head over to the weather expert, Scott Dorvell. Scott, we were talking about this water level. You said it's almost like a game that we have to play.
Yeah, it's a very important one. It has a lot of things at stake here. Basically what's happening is that we have a lot of water in that snowpack. And since it really doesn't rain here in the summertime appreciably, we need the water that's from the snowpack stored somewhere, so it's stored in our reservoir system. That's what we call the Boise Basin flows into our reservoir system. Wherever the snow is in the ground in that basin, that's where we're going to get our water for the spring and summer. We're at 94% of average right now in those three reservoirs, which is Anderson Ranch, Arrow Rock, and Lucky Peak Reservoir. They're all connected basically, and the water will then flow out of Lucky Peak. So we're at 94% of average with the snowpack, which is good news, and the water levels are pretty much the same way. Let's take a look at some of the other numbers here as we zoom on in. We'll show you here that we're three reservoir system altogether is 75% full. When you're driving by Lucky Peak, you may not think so because it's only half full, but Anderson Ranch is the biggest one, and that one is way up there above 85% of average. So this is what's happening right now. This is how much water is actually going into the reservoir system. 5,961 CFS. This is close to back full if all of that water was coming down the Boise River. When we get our peak flow, when we get the big melting going on, this could go up to 15, 20,000 CFS. So you can't let all that flow down the Boise River at one time. That's why it's being captured in the reservoir system. If the reservoirs are full, all the water would spill over it, and we would have all that water coming down the Boise River, which would not be good. And so right now they're creating enough room so that when the snow starts to melt in April and early May, we have water coming down that's not going to be flood stage. So at 5,000 CFS that's coming out of the dam right now, eventually, April 2nd, 1 week from today, the New York Canal will be turned on. The water will be diverted down here, a couple thousand CFS. But right now we have 5,000 CFS coming down the river, and the measurement at Glenwood was even higher, likely because of the rain that fell today. 5,219 CFS. 6,000 is bank full. Right now the water is being rushed out of the reservoir. This is typical, but Tamara, we're going to watch this closely because if we get too hot of weather or too much rain or a combination of both, it can cause problems.
Well, I will be watching closely. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that.